So it looks like we are live on Facebook. I'm very happy to be talking with author Trish Maselli today. We just launched her book, From Shoebox Accounting to Financial Success. So we'll be talking about that with her today. Thank you for being here, Trish.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I'd love to talk with you about your book and what inspired you to write it. So this book is, the subtitle is 9 Strategies to Take Control Over Your Money. And I especially love our cover with the images here of this person that's just losing it, right? Like this
Right.
is very stressed over their finances, right? And then it turns into, oh, the profits, and look how calm you look, Trisha. This picture is like nice and calm, money's coming in, things are growing. And yeah, and I know that you've had experience of working with small business owners and helping them transition from that place of feeling overwhelmed, feeling maxed out, into getting control over their finances and their taxes and all of that. So what has really inspired you to put this all into a book for people to read?
Well, for many years, people individuals as well as businesses have have called or come into my office asking me about taxes, and they always start off with the shoe boxes of receipts, and they're like, oh, I have this business, but I don't know what to do with this box of receipts. I'm like, well, are you on an accounting system? And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, you should have accounting software how would you know about your profit and loss? I mean, you're managing your business and you're probably doing it very well with what you do, whether you're a plumber or a construction worker, you probably do that very well, but you need to manage your finances in order to know whether or not you're making money. And not just about all the money in your bank account. It's about whether your business is making money, and the IRS rule is, you have to have a profit, whether it's $1 of a profit, but 3 out of the 5 years that you're in business. Otherwise, they do consider it a hobby, and you can't take all the expenses that you would want to, like your cell phone and your gas receipts and other expenses like that.
That's interesting. I actually didn't know that. I just learned something new today on this podcast. So learning about the difference between a hobby and a business that's profitable, what the requirements are from the IRS. I didn't actually know that. That's really cool to learn that today. And yeah, so you're helping people see how they need to learn these things, right? From going from just having receipts in the container, right? Like in the shoebox, to actually getting organized and getting things in their software. And what in the book you talk about what the different types of software that they could use, the different options for people. And I love how you said this just now, and you also said this in the book, that they might be fantastic at what they do, right? They know their stuff, they know their business, but the finances, it's okay to ask for help from somebody else and bring in an expert that knows that side of things, so that they can keep that going and keep doing the work that they're really skilled in.
And most people, as I've learned over the years, don't think that they can afford an accountant, but they can. As I mentioned in the book, I mean, you can go to Dunkin' Donuts for a cup of coffee, for $5 every time that you go there, and afford an accountant. I mean, we're part-time, we're not full-time. I charge for the work that I perform for your business.
Yeah, and I think it's I don't know, I talk with a lot of small business owners every day, right? I have a lot of those conversations. And it's interesting to me to hear how resistant some people are, especially in the early days of it, and even the first year or so of spending any money on their business. And it makes no sense to me, because you have to do these things and hire in people that know what they're doing if you're going to be sustainable and have your ducks in a row. And actually spending a little bit of money on an accountant, right, is going to help you actually scale and grow and make more profits. But if you don't get that mindset of a small business owner, you'll probably stay in that hobby category, right? You'll just stay in this other category that's not profitable.
And some people hire an accountant after they already put information into QuickBooks, and they're really categorized it wrong. So I come in and you spend more money by having after the fact, categorize and your expenses and coding it incorrectly and or improperly. And it's like, okay, I have to now undo what just created, which costs a small business owner more money.
Right.
You want to hire an accountant from your first time. I mean, because we can answer questions that you might have about business structure, about taxes, about what expenses that you can take off from your business, and what are the IRS rules for certain expenses.
And I thought it would be good to talk about some of the different topics that we have in the book. So you talk about business structure in the book. You talk about the tax ramifications of each. You talk about employees or having independent contractors, like the difference. That's an important skill for a different an important distinction, right, for people to decide as their business is growing. Payroll, sales tax, software. You do talk about hiring a financial professional and the differences of the different types of, CPA, accountant, enrolled agent. And I know you're an enrolled agent, which I've heard is very helpful when communicating with the IRS. Is there anything you want to, I know before, silly me, maybe brand new to this world, I hadn't heard of what an enrolled agent was until I met you. And since then, and I've learned a little bit more about this. Is there anything you want to share with people about how, like, what does that mean, and how does it help to work with someone that is an enrolled agent?
Sure. I mean, most people, when they think of taxes, they think of a CPA. But being an IRS enrolled agent, we have, some of the skills that a CPA has, as well as we can create niches of specifying in certain taxes, learning about, what the small business owner asks about. They have a lot of questions, and I can research it and say, well, let me get back to you on that. I might not know it offhand, but if I do a little research, then I can find the answer for you.
Yeah, and you'd know where to look and probably get the answer much faster than somebody could find out for themselves, I'm sure.
Right.
Yeah.
CPA just concentrates on tax returns. As I'm a tax accountant. I concentrate on tax preparation as well as preparing your tax return. So you come to me and I can say, well, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? What about, this?
So not just filing the return, but really preparing and different things throughout the year that they could do.
thinking about it, I always say, you should come, where a CPA you go to once a year, you should
Mhm.
really sit down with a tax accountant like myself,
Mm,
at least twice a year, so you know how to prepare for the end of the year and not pay and limit your taxes that you pay to the IRS as well as your state.
mm. You also in the book, one of the topics is these deductible expenses, which you tell me that's what everybody wants to know about, right? Everyone wants to get their taxes down and know about the expenses. And then you also talk about developing a business plan, which I think is so great that you included this in the book because it really goes beyond what most people might be thinking of around taxes, and their business structure is like, oh, how do we actually create that? And you do have an example of how to walk yourself through creating your own business plan, which is
Right.
really cool.
I have created one over the years, and it's very important for your growth of your business to sit
Mhm.
down and to establish what you're going to do, not just this year, but in, 5, 10 years from now.
Mhm.
How are you going to plan? How are you going to grow your business?
Mm, yeah.
What avenues are you going to choose? What niches are you going to choose to grow your business?
Mhm. Yeah. Um, so is there anything else that you would want to share with people? Oh, I wanted to say one more thing. You did a great job of making this book fun, right? You have cartoons throughout, you explain things in a very clear way. Like you took a subject that could be overwhelming or possibly dry to people, which I don't think money is dry, but some people seem to think it is. But you did this in a way that I think is very engaging for people that they need to know this stuff, right? Small business owners need this, and you put it together in a way that will be a way that people can take in, even if this is not their specialty. Is there anything else you'd want people to know about? Anything you'd like our listeners to know?
I wanted to do that for, the people who are we call them non-accountants, to
Mm-hmm.
understand uh, what it is to manage your business. And,
Mm-hmm.
I developed this over the years by, talking to businesses, and they always ask me the same question. So I decided to put it in this, you know, book for them and to share my knowledge with them. And I plan to hopefully, come out with the workbook so they can go more in depth with
Mm-hmm.
with their finances, and to, as I've heard other people say, to love, you know, to to love your finances, and understand them completely,
Mm-hmm.
how it affects really your business
Mm-hmm.
day to day.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to do some online with the workbook. I want to do some online courses once again
Mm-hmm.
to dive deep.
Yeah,
Dive
I
deep.
love that. Yeah, and I love what you're saying is to actually develop that love of the finances, because it's an important part of your business. I mean, that's what makes it a business, is that you have money coming in and you have this structure, and it's important to have that all pulled together so that you can keep doing the work that you love too. So the book itself is available on both, it's on Amazon in both ebook and in paperback form. So everyone can go and purchase it there. If they want to learn more about you, is your website the best way for them to connect
Yes, I
with
have a
you?
website, or you can give me a call. I'd
Mhm.
love to answer any of your questions. I mean, I don't, I do a free consultation for for an hour, free
Mhm.
consultation, in hopes that you learn more about myself as well as my services.
Mhm. And that's clearcutaccountingservices.com is your website.
Yes,
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today, Trish. It was lovely to talk with you.
thank you.